Ever wondered why some people seem to age slower than others? Well, the answer lies in the fascinating field of epigenetics, a scientific realm that sits at the crossroads of our genetics, environment, and habits. Epigenetics is like the conductor of an orchestra, actively deciding how and when our genes, or the members of the orchestra, play their parts. This is crucial for a healthier and longer life. Just think about it. Your genes are like a blueprint containing all the information needed for the development and functioning of your body. But it's the epigenome, the series of switches that decide which genes should be active and which should remain dormant, that makes each cell perform its specific role. Indeed, our lifestyle choices, like what we eat, how much we exercise, and even how we manage stress, can influence these epigenetic switches. In essence, our lifestyle choices can directly shape our health through the power of epigenetics. Let's take a closer look at the difference between our genome and our epigenome. Picture the genome as the complete set of genes and genetic information contained in an organism's DNA. It's like a blueprint, directing the development and functioning of an organism. This blueprint is unique to each of us and makes us who we are. Now imagine the epigenome as a series of switches that decide which genes should be active and which should be inactive in each cell. It's a bit like a master control panel that allows each cell to perform its specific function. This epigenome doesn't change our DNA sequence, but it determines how our cells read the DNA. To put it another way, think of your genome as the hardware of a computer. It's the physical components that make up the machine. The epigenome, on the other hand, is like the software. It tells the hardware what to do and when to do it. Or think of a symphony orchestra. All the musicians are there with their instruments and they have the sheet music. That's the genome. But without a conductor to guide them, telling them when and how to play, they would all be playing at different times and at different volumes. It would be chaos. The conductor is the epigenome, bringing order and harmony to the music. In the same way, our bodies have thousands of genes, but not all of them need to be active all the time. Some genes need to be turned on or off, depending on what the body needs. That's where the epigenome comes into play, switching genes on and off as needed. And just as every orchestra needs a conductor to create music, every cell in our body needs an epigenome to function properly. Without it, our cells wouldn't know when to grow, when to repair damage, or when to die and be replaced by new cells. So to sum it up, the epigenome is the conductor to the DNA's symphony, deciding when and how each piece or gene is played. So how do these epigenetic changes occur? Well, it's a fascinating process. Epigenetic changes refer to modifications in the activity of our genes, but crucially, these changes do not involve alterations in the DNA sequence itself. Let's use an analogy to make this clearer. Imagine a symphony orchestra. The DNA is like the musical score and the epigenetics is like the conductor. The musical score, or DNA, remains unchanged. It's the same notes, the same rhythm, the same melody. But the conductor, or epigenetics, decides when and how each piece is played. The conductor can choose to emphasize certain parts, play others softly, or skip some entirely. Similarly, epigenetics can choose to activate or suppress certain genes without changing the DNA sequence. Now, what's truly fascinating is that our lifestyle choices can influence these epigenetic changes. Yes, you heard that right. Our diet, our stress levels, our exercise routines, even our sleep patterns can cause epigenetic changes. Take diet, for instance. A good or bad diet can influence DNA methylation, a crucial process in epigenetics. DNA methylation is like putting sticky notes on certain genes, telling them to be more or less active. So a healthy diet can encourage the methylation of genes that promote good health, while an unhealthy diet can lead to the methylation of genes associated with diseases. Similarly, a good or bad lifestyle can also influence DNA methylation. Regular exercise, adequate sleep, and stress management can encourage the methylation of health-promoting genes, while a sedentary lifestyle, inadequate sleep, and high stress levels can lead to the methylation of disease-associated genes. So what does all this mean? It means that our lifestyle choices can influence DNA methylation and ultimately the expression of genes associated with diseases like type 2 diabetes and obesity. In other words, by making healthier lifestyle choices, we can potentially influence our epigenetics to promote better health and prevent disease. Now, isn't that an empowering thought? Let's explore one of the epigenetic mechanisms, DNA methylation. DNA methylation is an intriguing process that plays a key role in controlling gene expression. It's like the librarian of our genetic library placing "do not disturb" signs on specific books or genes to keep them quiet while encouraging others to make some noise. Imagine with me for a moment, your genome, that's the complete set of your genetic information, is like a vast library filled with books of all shapes and sizes. Each book represents a gene, holding unique information that defines who you are. Now imagine DNA methylation as sticky notes placed strategically on certain books. These sticky notes can tell the cell to either pay more attention to a particular book or to ignore it completely. This isn't changing the content of the books, mind you, but it's controlling which books get read and which ones stay on the shelf. Let's consider a practical example. There's a gene called the leptin gene, which plays a pivotal role in controlling our appetite and body weight. When this gene is methylated, its activity may be suppressed, which can lead to obesity and insulin resistance. That's because you may never feel full when you eat, no matter the quantity. But it's not all doom and gloom. DNA methylation isn't inherently bad. In fact, it's a crucial part of normal development and cellular differentiation in mammals. It's the dysregulation of methylation, the imbalance, that can lead to health problems. Evidence suggests that our lifestyle choices, including our diet, exercise, and even our stress levels, can influence DNA methylation. This means that by making healthier choices, we may be able to guide our inner librarian, influencing which books get those sticky notes and which ones don't. In essence, DNA methylation is a powerful tool in the hands of our cells. It can turn genes on and off, determining which proteins are produced and when. This, in turn, influences every aspect of our health, from how quickly we age to our susceptibility to diseases, and even to how we respond to treatments. Changes in gene expression due to methylation can influence our health significantly. So, by understanding and harnessing the power of DNA methylation, we have the potential to transform our health in profound ways. So how does all this impact our health? Well, let's dive into that. Epigenetic alterations, the changes in our gene activity that do not involve alterations to the genetic code itself, can have a profound influence on our health. Just as a musician can change the sound of a song by altering the way they play their instrument, our bodies can change the way they function by modifying the activity of our genes. This is where the concept of methylation comes into play. Methylation is a process that can make certain genes more or less active. Imagine your genome as a vast library. Methylation is like putting post-it notes on certain books, telling the cell to either pay attention to or ignore that particular information. For instance, the gene that regulates appetite and body weight can be methylated or marked, and its activity can be suppressed. This could lead to conditions like obesity and insulin resistance because you never feel satisfied when you eat. But it's not all doom and gloom. While over-methylation of certain genes can lead to diseases like cancer, proper methylation can be key to maintaining and even improving our health. It can help prevent diseases and keep our bodies functioning at their best. Epigenetics, therefore, plays a vital role in our overall health and well-being. Now, what about aging? How does epigenetics influence this natural process? As we age, our epigenetic conductor can start making less optimal decisions. This can allow for cellular aging and the onset of age-related diseases. Over time, the epigenetic switches that once kept our genes singing in harmony can start hitting the wrong notes. This dissonance may contribute to age-related conditions such as heart disease, Alzheimer's, and certain types of cancer. But where does this discord come from? Well, a lot of it has to do with our environment and lifestyle choices. Factors like diet, stress, smoking, and exposure to toxins can cause epigenetic changes that accelerate aging. For example, a diet high in sugars and saturated fats can increase the methylation of genes associated with inflammation and oxidative stress. This heightened state of inflammation and stress can speed up the aging process and make us more susceptible to disease. On the other hand, a balanced diet, regular exercise, and good sleep hygiene can help maintain an optimal epigenetic balance. These healthy lifestyle choices can potentially slow down the aging process and even prevent some age-related diseases. So while we can't change our DNA, we do have some control over how it's read. And this control can help us age more gracefully. Rejuvenation, and epigenetics. In a fascinating twist, science is exploring how the manipulation of methylation could reverse some aspects of aging. This is where rejuvenation programs like Regenia 360 come in. This program takes a comprehensive approach, working on physical, biochemical, emotional, and electromagnetic levels to help counteract gene methylation and promote demethylation where necessary, essentially rejuvenating our cells at a genetic level. The 8 keys to modifying your gene expression and delaying the passage of time. Physical plane, exercise regularly. Physical exercise modulates gene expression, increasing the production of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant proteins. 40 minutes of brisk walking daily are sufficient. Sleep well. Sleeping less than 6 hours per night increases the expression of pro-inflammatory genes. Improve your sleep habits to sleep 9 hours a day. Physiological plane, 1. Maintain a balanced diet. Diets high in saturated fats, sugars, and excess calories promote epigenetic changes related to diseases. Consume more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. Supplement with nutraceuticals. Compounds such as curcumin, resveratrol, and sulforaphane modulate gene expression, protecting against aging. Consumption of food sources of these, or use of supplements in moderation. Emotional plane, 1. Manage your stress. Chronic stress leads to epigenetic markings associated with inflammation in DNA. Engage in meditation, yoga, or other relaxing practices daily. Have good relationships. Positive social interactions promote protective epigenetics. Cultivate friendships expressing empathy and affection. Electromagnetic plane, 1. Expose yourself to the sun in moderation. Sunlight balances epigenetic processes, improving circadian rhythm. Sunbathe moderately daily for 10-20 minutes. Sleep away from electronic devices. The electromagnetic field of devices can influence gene expression. Keep sources of electromagnetic radiation away from the bedroom and avoid using a cell phone before sleeping. In summary, with small daily changes in physical, dietary, behavioral habits, and in the environment, you can optimize your epigenetics for a healthier and more rejuvenated life. Conclusion: understanding epigenetics opens up a world of possibilities to improve our health and longevity. It is more than a genetic map. It is the conductor of the orchestra of our genome, and every day we learn more about how to fine-tune the music. Do you want to explore more about the science behind epigenetics and how it can influence your health? Share your thoughts and questions in the comments. And if you like this article, please share it on your social networks. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter to keep up with the latest advances in epigenetics and health. Hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. In essence, the power of epigenetics in controlling our health and aging is immense and largely influenced by our lifestyle choices.